All right, welcome to the News Channel 9 Stream Center and one of our favorite days of the year, our weather radio events. This is where we go out into the community as a News Channel 9 team, as a Storm Track 9 team, and we help you program your weather alert radios so that when severe weather hits, you are prepared. You're looking at a live video now of our team at the Elders Ace location on East Brainerd Road. But it's not just our ACE friends that we have there, it's our News Channel 9 team across the area. So at that same location, here's Meg Doyle standing by where she is programming weather radios. We also have Dane and Hannah, both at our Lafayette locations today. The Elders Aces there. They are also standing by to help you program your weather alert radios. And then Olivia Glass, our meteorologist, joining us from the studio where she's about to get ready to do the noon show. And we're going to talk to her about some of the reasons why these weather radios are so important. So first, let's start with Dane and Hannah. Dane and Hannah, tell me in Lafayette, how has it been going out there and how many people have you guys seen so far this morning?
Well, it has been fantastic, Latricia. We are inside of the Elders Ace right here. Behind me is our weather radio setup, the shelf where you will go and actually grab your weather radio to purchase it. Hannah and I have been here for the better half of an hour, and we've had a steady stream of people. I'm going to turn my camera around here and actually show you, if I can, exactly what things are looking like. Let's go ahead and see. We have people waiting in line to get their radios programmed. But again, once you grab a radio off the shelf right here, it's easy. We've got it real close to the weather radio programming table. Then you can come right over here to our checkout line. And it's so easy, guys, to just check out. And something really important we want to mention is that every purchase of a weather radio, $5 goes to the Forgotten Child Fund. And if you come with an older radio, perhaps, and you also want to give back to the Forgotten Child Fund, we do have an option to donate right at the register. So it makes it so easy, and it's so important, guys, to make sure that you are prepared for severe weather.
And one of the questions we get a lot, Hannah, we'll get to you in just one second. Hold on, is how much are the weather radios? Dane, $39.99, right? That's what people pay. And then that $5 goes to the Forgotten Child Fund from ACE. And then you also get free batteries.
That is correct. And what we do here is all you have to do is get your weather radio, and I'll flip my camera around or just show you here. We have our News Channel 9 staff making sure that your weather radio is programmed correctly. What we recommend is that you program your weather radio for the county that you reside, so that way you're getting the proper notifications in those emergency situations. And this is also an opportunity to have a conversation with us about your weather radio story. Perhaps you have an experience with severe weather that you'd like to share with us. We want to hear your stories. This is an opportunity for us to connect with you as well.
All right, Hannah, how many of you programmed do you think this morning already?
I would say Dane and I got here probably about 20, 30 minutes ago. We've had about, I'd say, a little less than 10 people we've spoken to this morning. I'm actually outside the Elders Ace right now. I'm looking at all these beautiful flowers, but obviously what's more important here is this sign here, the weather radio event sign. I wanted to be outside right now because a lot of times we do have these events outside. You see that tent. I know last weather radio event, Meg and I are notoriously known for the tent that blew away behind us, but this one here in Lafayette is inside, which is important to note. So driving up, don't think that you came to the wrong Elders Ace. This is the right one. I'll flip you around here if I can. I don't know if I have that feature anymore, but this is inside the Lafayette Elders Ace, and I'll be in there with Dane in just a moment, but wanted to remind everyone that it is inside and it is not any of the tents outside in this location here.
Perfect. And we're looking at the addresses right now. So on East Brainerd Road, that's 8164 East Brainerd Road, Lafayette, 1105 North Main Street. And we'll be out there today until 7 o'clock. So we'll have different members of our News Channel 9 crew. Dane and Hannah, of course, our first crew. They've been up this morning early. They're going to be out there for a while. And then we'll switch out to some of our evening Storm Track 9ers and News Channel 9ers to handle the afternoon. Dane and Hannah, thanks so much. We're going to come back to you guys in just a few minutes. I know that you'll have lots of people there ready to program the weather radio. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, now we want to go back to East Brainerd. Again, 8164 East Brainerd Road. And that is where we find Meg Doyle. Meg, I was just with you a few minutes ago out on
Yes.
East Brainerd Road. We had a big crowd coming up asking for help.
We certainly did. It has been pretty nonstop all morning. As you can see right now, I'm actually reprogramming a radio. So that's another thing. Even if you already have a radio, you're having issues with it, you need it to be reprogrammed. If you moved or you're just not sure if it's working right, we can definitely help you out with that here. So it's super simple. I mean, Latricia, we both needed a little refresher, but after the first one, it takes less than a minute to program these radios, which is fantastic. And they're so important. I've been hearing so many stories from people, especially people who were here for the Ringgold tornadoes a few years ago, and just people who didn't have an alert system, who had to have someone, got a call from a loved one is the reason they found out. But these just help make sure that in case of emergency, you are always prepared. So yeah, it's been a really busy morning here. We've been pretty nonstop, which is an amazing thing, and a super beautiful day out here. So definitely come on by. We'll be here till 7 o'clock tonight. So there's a lot going on here. But yeah, I'm getting the hang of programming these things, and it's kind of fun once you get the hang of it.
And you'll hear the beeps all day long in your head, Meg.
Yes. I almost feel like I'm going to start singing a jingle or something.
Yep. And we're looking at a picture of a nice man that Meg and I met, Larry Beard. He came out to get his weather radio programmed. His wife just died a few months ago, and he told us that she normally takes care of things like making sure batteries are changed out. So he wanted to make sure that his weather radio was ready to go in the next severe weather incident. He lives right over the line in Catoosa County. Like Meg said, of course, that's where those Ringgold tornadoes hit so devastatingly in years past. And so people there are so weather alert, and that's so important. Meg, we'll come back to you in just a few minutes. But thanks, Meg. I do want to show you right now. We did speak to some of the people that we were meeting today about if you need to know how to program your own weather radio. The Elders ACE employees can always help, but we also have this video on our website. It's our chief meteorologist, David Glenn, and he's going to walk us through right now how we program those weather radios and what our team will actually be doing for you if you come and see us today.
I'm Storm Track 9's David Glenn, and I'm here to show you how to program your Midland WR120 Severe Weather Radio, one of the most widely used radios in our area. To get started, you'll need 3 AA batteries and the power cord that came with your radio. I'll be showing you how to set up a brand new radio right out of the box. And if your radio happens to be an older version, I'll have some helpful troubleshooting tips at the end of this demonstration. Let's get started. First, insert the batteries in the compartment on the bottom of the radio. Also, make sure the weather radio switch on the side is in the on position. The display on the front will now show welcome and ask you to select the language you'd like to use. Press the select button to see your choices. Use the up or down arrows to choose between English, Spanish, or French. Press the select button again to lock in your choice. Next, you will be asked to set the location for the area which you would like to receive alerts. Press the select button. Here you have the option to choose between any to get alerts for any county in the area, multiple to get alerts for more than one county, and single to get alerts for just one county. We recommend choosing single to get those alerts relevant to your area. The National Weather Service will warn all counties affected by a watch or warning at the same time. I'll be demonstrating how to program your radio for a single county. Press the select button again to make your choice. Your display will now show 01 empty. Press the select button again to begin setting your location. Use the up or down arrows to choose the country you live in. Then press select. Now choose your state or province and press select again. And then choose the county you live in. Press select to finalize your location. If you chose multiple at the start, just repeat the process to add more counties that you would like to receive alerts for. After you have set your location, you'll be asked to set the time. Press the select button and use the arrow keys to set the hours and minutes. Here's a helpful tip. Use the down arrow first to quickly get to PM hours. Use the up arrow to stay with the AM hours. Press select when you're finished setting the time. Next, you'll be asked to set the channel. Press select to see your options. Use the arrow keys again to cycle through the 7 different channels until you hear the National Weather Service broadcast.
This is NOAA Weather Radio Station WXK48, the voice of the National Weather Service.
Press select to choose that station. That's it. Your new radio is ready to go. Now be sure to plug it in and also have fresh batteries, and check those batteries about once every other month because you'll need those batteries should you lose power. Until that point, leave the radio plugged in. Okay, that's the setup for a new radio, but what if your radio isn't new? Here are some helpful tips. First, remember that if your radio was correctly programmed in the past but has lost power, you won't necessarily have to reprogram it. The radio should still have the correct location and channel settings in its internal memory. Just put in fresh batteries and plug it in. You can check the location and channel by pressing the menu button, then use the arrow keys to go to set location. Press select. The radio will display whether it's been programmed for single, multiple, or any county. Press select again to see the county that the radio is programmed for. To check to make sure your radio is set to the correct channel, be sure the switch on the side is turned to the on position. Then hit the weather snooze bar. If you hear a National Weather Service broadcast, you'll know that it's programmed correctly. If you don't hear anything from your radio, use the volume buttons to ensure the volume is turned up. If you hear a high-pitched ring and nothing else, it's a sign the radio is no longer operable and will have to be replaced. And lastly, to reset your radio back to its factory settings, unplug it and remove one of the batteries. Then hold the weather snooze bar as you reinsert the battery. The radio will reset to its factory settings and is now ready to be programmed. For more information on the Midland WR120 radio, visit www.midlandradio.com. We've also placed a helpful link to the operating manual for this radio here on our website. For Storm Strike 9, I'm David Glenn. Thanks for watching.
So that's the all-important how to program your weather radio. But guess what? You don't need to do that by yourself. You're looking at our team at the Elders Ace Hardware on East Brainerd Road right now, out programming weather radios. You can see Meg Doyle, you can see Chris from Ace, Bill Lindsay, some of our other team members there, all ready to help you with those programming tips that you just heard David talk about. Now, I want to bring in Olivia Glass. She is one of our meteorologists. She's standing by in the studio here at News Channel 9, getting ready for the noon show. Olivia, thanks so much for taking a few minutes for us today.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past weeks, we just experienced over the past couple of weeks in different parts of our viewing area, an upgrade to the National Weather Service system. And actually, it put some of those weather radios out of commission for a little bit. Can you tell me about what happened there?
Yeah, so what exactly happened was that there is a certain, say, network that a lot of the warnings and alerts get issued to. And this isn't happening just in our area. It's happening across the country. All of that weather radio systems has to be upgraded. So it was down, at least for us locally, was down for a few days. Now that upgrade is finished, now all of our weather radios work, and it's just a routinely and scheduled thing that had to happen. And I believe the National Weather Service warning meteorologist said that this schedule was set back in September.
That's right.
So this schedule has been out for quite some time, and unfortunately, it was our turn last week, but all good upgrades to have them ready to go for the future.
And we spoke to someone with the National Weather Service. Here's what he had to say about what that upgrade will mean for their team in the future.
These updates are more security updates. So just like when you have a computer update or a phone update, there are a few enhancements, but it's not like you got a brand new phone and everything looks different. So that's kind of, these updates are to allow for future capabilities that we'll be able to utilize, that, we're going to be out in the field and being able to tap into that software from helping emergency managers at emergency operations centers, where we need that vital information to provide to them immediately. So that's kind of what this upgrade is going to allow us to do in the future.
And like you said, that's now over. All the weather radios back online and working again.
Yes. So once we program it for you today, we'll be able to test it. We'll press that snooze button and we should all be good to go.
Yeah. And another thing that they told us, always make sure, whether during that outage or not, that you have multiple ways to be alerted. The WTVC weather app that you can find in your app store on your iPhone or Android. Also, we have a link on our website to all the county by county alert systems. And Olivia, one thing I want to ask you, when you do get that alert, we're going to take a look now at one of the things that you all like to tell people, your safe and not safe space. When you get that alert, what should you do?
So you shouldn't wait. You should take action immediately, regardless if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, a flash flood warning, even a tornado warning. Some not safe spaces to be during those types of alerts are in mobile homes, vehicles, rooms that are pretty large, big open spaces. Same with top floors. You want to move to the lowest floor of the building you're in, or say, for example, maybe you live in a mobile home and we've been forecasting, severe weather for quite some time now. It's probably a good idea to have an action plan just to be somewhere else in case that forecast does verify. Unfortunately, not the way we want it to. So just having that plan set in stone, ready to go to make sure that you and your family are safe. Go over your safe plan with your family. Make sure everyone knows it in the household. But the most ideal spot to be during a severe thunderstorm warning or even a tornado warning is in your basement. If you have a storm shelter, that's a good place also. And of course, away from any windows. Lightning can strike. And unfortunately can maybe cause some damage, as well as maybe there's some super gusty winds and they can blow through the window, and then you have broken glass on you, and that's not safe. And unfortunately, if there is a tornado, sometimes that can loft debris through the window and end up in a place that we don't want it to be.
And, Olivia, one of the things we heard from people that went through the Easter tornadoes or the Ringgold tornadoes, when you go to your safe space, take shoes with you, because if you need to go out of your home and it's damaged and you're walking around outside, all of that debris out there can be really hard and dangerous to walk through. It's something I had never thought of before we kind of lived through that in our area here.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Having flashlights with you in case the power's out, it's at nighttime. Sometimes when a lot of these storms come through at night, they can kind of be the more dangerous ones, just because that's when everyone is sleeping. You may not hear the outdoor sirens go off, which should not be your first line of getting your weather information.
Right, because we don't have a lot of those in our area, just some isolated spots.
Yeah, and to add on to that, the sirens are mainly just used in the areas that they are in.
Right.
Say if you're outside at a baseball game, for example, you hear the siren, time to go inside. But your first and most reliable way to get your weather information is from the weather radio, as well as the Storm Track 9 app. Hopefully you have that downloaded already. And of course, you can still watch us here at News Channel 9 to get your weather information that way.
All right. Olivia, thanks so much. We'll see you on the noon show in about 20 minutes there.
You got it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And before we go here, of course, as Dane mentioned earlier, some of the proceeds, Elders Ace Hardware, from when you buy that weather radio today and then have us program it, goes to the Forgotten Child Fund. Dane spoke to some of the people with the Forgotten Child Fund. Let's listen to that conversation and their important mission here in our area.
Radio event, it's up on us, and the storms has been bad, so there's always a need for a weather radio.
Yeah.
And going to a good cause. Coats for Kids, Elders Ace has always been so good to us. I mean, last year is what we brought in from the coat drive, 6,558. That buys a lot of coats, and we're already in the early stage of buying coats right now, so we really don't quit. We try to buy coats at the best price throughout the year. So with everything going on in the market, we're trying to get the bang for the buck. So JCPenney's has been one of our great longtime partners. They let us have $70, $80 coats for $21 a piece. So that's another great partnership with Elders Ace. Couldn't do it without the public.
Well, what I love about the Forgotten Child Fund, Kelly, is the fact that it is made up of volunteers and local first responders from all over our area coming together to make sure that our kids, like the name implies, are not forgotten, which is just so important.
Well, you know, fire and police, I'm retired firefighter for Chattanooga, but, you know, we come in a lot of times, you just see us in your worst moments, and that could be death, tragedy, or whatever it could be. But to give back, and everybody's heart's just so dedicated to give back. We know, you know, fire, police, EMS, we don't make a whole bunch of money, but to be able to give back and be able to help a kid with a coat, toboggan, or a glove out there on a bus stop on a cold morning, you know, you go, people's going to work, they see them out there and it's cold. You're cold in your car, getting in the car, let alone sitting at the bus stop without a coat or a toboggan and glove.
Right. Obviously, a lot of the fundraisers and efforts that you guys have are for the winter months, but of course, it takes the whole year of building this up, and that's why these weather radio events, we hope, are a big help.
Well, we're here for anything, burnouts throughout the year. It's just not December, right. You know, family could, police department might have a tragedy or something needing toys, coats, toboggans, and gloves. Just to be able to give back, put a smile on somebody's face. That's what it's all about.
Now, talk a little bit about, if you can, the history of the Forgotten Child Fund, because this has been going on for decades. It got its roots here in the 60s.
Yeah, it actually started with Johnny Wright. He was a patrol officer. And it domestic call on Christmas Day, and he asked the two kids what they got for Christmas. One showed him an apple, one showed him an orange, and that was it. Broke his heart. He called the business owners downtown. That's when Loveman's and everything was downtown. Opened up the stores, come in, got them some Christmas. And that's how we got started.
And that effort and that legacy continues, which I love.
And not only just getting the coats and the toboggans and gloves, getting the radios out.
Right.
The weather radios, like I said, I'm a retired fireman. I worked the tornadoes when it hit East Brainerd, and we was there ground zero that night. And the devastation, not being prepared and knowing at least getting to a safe spot and weather those storms out. That's what it's all about.
And there are so many ways for people to donate during our weather radio events. Of course, every purchase of a weather radio, $5, from Elders Ace, they'll donate straight to the Forgotten Child Fund. We also have the option for just a cash donation on site if you bring in your older radio that needs programs, so that way you still have an opportunity to give back.
That is exactly right. And we'll be on site that day too, but back and forth both locations. But, you know, it's just elders giving back to the community.
All right, that was the Forgotten Child Fund talking about where that important donation goes to help with our community. We're going to wrap things up here on our stream as we get ready for our noon show today, but we want to remind everybody where we are. We've got Dane and Hannah in Lafayette, 1105 North Main Street. Guys, you guys will be there for a little bit longer talking to some people and programming those radios. Olivia here in our studio, also Meg Doyle at East Brainerd, the location here, a little bit closer to Chattanooga. You've got until 7 o'clock tonight to come and see our team, to come and talk to everybody, and to get your weather radio programmed, because you want to do it now before you need it, because when that severe weather happens, you want to make sure it goes off, it alerts you. You can use all the info from our Storm Track 9 team to keep you and your family safe. We're going to bring you back up to date here closer to 4 o'clock this afternoon, once again, to check back in with our crews. But for now, come see us at one of those Elders Ace Hardware locations, Lafayette and East Brainerd Road, until 7 tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here in the News Channel.